Cain was a coward and a traitor who long ago lost faith in the purity that is Tiberium. His violent demise was the result of his own lies and blasphemies. And he will be brought down to the pit of hell, and all there will stare at him and ask, can this be the one who shook the earth and the kingdoms of the world?
Yes, I am the one. I am the true prophet of the power of Tiberium. Brother Marcion will be brought to his knees, and you, my child, will be the one who strikes him down. Show him no mercy, for he deserves none.
Establishing video uplink.
Congratulations, fellow traveler, on your discovery of our secret compound. Your markings betray you as a follower of the false prophet, of Cain. Identify yourself or face the consequences.
Incoming transmission. Marcion cowers in his stronghold. Destroy it and drive him into the open. Construction complete.
What a base he's got here!
Welcome back, Commander.
Running smooth.
Construction complete.
So I have some words about this sequence. First off, Marcion seems like an interesting character, taking over the mantle after Cain is presumed dead. And obviously this won't be a unique thing. We've seen it in Tiberium Sun before. But more that it's kind of strange that it's just we're capturing him already. We're not letting that build up. There's no tension with the character, or perhaps a mission with the factions that are fighting each other in your name, but you're not actually the main, driving force within that. There's something there that could be explored that just isn't. Additionally, even if we were to forego an idea for another mission, it does seem particularly strange that your units would just show up and then suddenly can be determined by their markings, but our units aren't different. If perhaps there had been something with the models, or maybe if you just don't really come under attack until the trap isn't set until after you manage to enter Marcion's base, or maybe attack them or capture a building, whatever the case may be, there's something that can be explored there that just isn't. Even if you do something like have Brother Marcion have an outpost in the middle of nowhere, and you're forced to capture that in order to progress, that's still something that furthers the plot of this mission. But we don't do that. Instead, we have a fairly standard build your map, or build your base, get some defenses up, and push out. Now, strangely, this map features two kind of
Reinforcements inbound.
determining factors, I guess I'll call them.
We're trained right on him.
The first is that there's some sensors in the area, and these sensors are supposed to deploy GDI troops. I think the goal here is that this indicates that there's non-movement in the area, therefore nearby GDI troops are funneled over here in order to, do something. But it doesn't quite make sense, because each of these towers should be able to talk to each other. The map isn't particularly large, and there's 4 of these things. I'm pretty sure it starts at 4. 2, it's really hard to destroy these things before they go off. I think the timer is like 6 seconds or something. Perhaps it's shorter on or longer on easier difficulty. I didn't really consider that at the start, but it's just kind of seems silly. And 2 is that Marcion never attacks. Either it's because I didn't do something right, or I went for Venoms and Stealth Tanks, because I'm still not a huge fan of Scorpions, especially if I have to deal with avatars.
From the east.
So why would I bother? I might as well just have stealth tanks drive around, see where the enemy units are patrolling, and then take out patrols with Venoms or with the stealth tanks. Ultimately, my goal is to... oh, it's like 15 seconds. Anyways, 15 seconds is depending on what you're using, it's not that long. But anyways, so Marcion doesn't have that big of a base. His troops don't really... Like, I destroy this wave, and he doesn't really pick up the pace. Nobody else shows up to do anything. So I don't really know what the goal is, essentially, of the designers of this map.
What do you...
There's a bunch of Tiberium spikes, which, if you can spare the, what is it, like $2,000 for the engineers, plus another $2,000 or so to transport them, you get 4 free spikes. As with your base, the enemy will never go after them, never prevents them from being captured, doesn't recapture them. As long as you clear the area first, you're golden. I also get a lot of free recon by just having one of my transports happen to fly over here, so...
Training.
This is also what got me the idea to further building Venoms and stealth tanks, because there's not a very large amount of defense. One of the biggest anti-air things they have are the battle wagon things, which again I still don't like or appreciate. They just kind of suck, in my opinion.
What is it? Venom craft ready for liftoff. Looking clear.
This is probably a good time to talk about them in the first place. We'll actually have some, I believe in, like, it's either the next mission or the one after that. And essentially, they're very similar to a unit that we saw in Red Alert 2. The Allied Battle Bus. And I guess technically we saw it in Generals as well. With the expansion and for the terrorists. So, the idea is you put some units inside, but I don't believe the units actually shoot or do anything until the unit emplaces itself or, you know, it dies the first time. The problem with it is that they can't move after they emplace themselves, so why would I care? Like, it's nice to have a bunker with units in it, but frankly speaking, I'd rather just build the Obelisk of Light or some SAM turrets. I mean, if the SAM turrets, the individual turrets blow up, I don't really care about what happens. As long as the control node survives, that's all that really matters to me.
We're trained right on our sights.
Unit promoted.
Lie in waiting.
On patrol. Go ahead.
Any scanners around? Get the rockets ready.
So yeah, I could have probably brute forced my way to the objective, destroyed it, and been okay.
See anything?
But frankly, I wanted to do the optional objectives, so this is why it kind of plays out a little bit more.
All right. Step emitters ready for liftoff. On patrol.
We can see the Reckoner do that little funky animation where it kind of spews out gas. That's basically it emplacing itself. Also, maybe there's a bug on this map, and that's why there's so many units here. I really couldn't figure out why there's so many infantry, but hey, I'm here, so I kind of needed to,
On patrol.
you know, suffer some losses.
Insufficient funds.
Finish. Hurry. Patrol craft. See anything? This quick. What is it? We're trained right on them. They're not going anywhere. We're trained right on them.
Sadly, one of the annoying things, well, one of the positive things about the upgrade that Nod gets in the expansion, or at least maybe not in the expansion, but one of the upgrades that Nod gets is that you can add a 4th turret to the hub, and that's really cool and appreciated. The problem is that it makes it a lot harder in dense or like unicolor areas to really spot the hub in while you're performing a lot of actions. So sometimes you just end up missing the hub, and yeah, you kind of just have to deal with regenerating turrets. It's not the end of the world, obviously, but it's just something that, to me, was quite noticeable. Honestly, there's far more Tiberium than you'll ever really need. There's so many blue fields, and Marcion has so many that it's kind of a good thing that he never either floods the map with stuff or rebuilds buildings, because otherwise you'd have a lot to contend with.
How's it looking? Gotcha. Keep on our sights.
The fact that enemy units level up so quickly is
Training.
honestly a little frustrating. It makes it a pain when you see a bunch of, you know, buggies and some attack bikes, and you figure that the Venoms you have are surely going to be able to deal with all of them, and then, you know, wipe the rest of the map.
Keep alert.
Venom craft ready for liftoff. Venom craft ready for liftoff.
They have no idea. Let's wait there. Sneak up on them.
Venom craft ready for liftoff.
In and out.
If anything, the real sad part is that this mission is going to throw a bit of a swerve at people, especially if this is your first time playing, which thankfully I remembered what the swerve was from the last time. Also, again, an idea is like how much damage you take on attack and why it sucks, and you know why sometimes it's best to just cheese it with stealth tanks or with Venoms if you can.
Keep rocking.
But yeah, there's a bit of a swerve in this mission that makes it so that it's rather unfortunate if you don't have just the right amount of troops to take out the base.
Hide there.
It's also a bit of a callback from a mission in Tiberian Sun. I don't know if it's intended as a callback, but it certainly follows the same sort of principle.
Venom craft ready for liftoff.
Keep rocking there.
Building.
I think honestly what made my woes just that much larger was the fact that the way that this map is built, with the height levels and everything, despite the fact that I can see units, my units that shoot rockets that go over terrain can't really do what you would think they could. And so you end up having stealth tanks that have to advance and get right next to a flamethrower tank and predictably die
Venom
at a
craft
reason.
ready for liftoff. On patrol. Venom craft ready for liftoff. See anything? Go ahead. Venom craft ready for liftoff. See anything? Venom craft ready for liftoff. Ready patrol craft.
Again, it's not one of those things that's the end of the world or anything, but it's just something that you feel quite suddenly when your weakest units that you depend on and do the most damage with are suddenly just picked out rather quickly.
Venom craft ready for liftoff. Ready for liftoff. Venom craft ready for liftoff. Don't lose them.
And yeah, at a certain point, it's just easier to flood an area with the Venoms, because ultimately they're faster than stealth tanks at moving around the map, and well, I don't think they're cheaper, but anyways, it's just easier.
How's it looking? Ready for liftoff. They're not going anywhere. Ready for liftoff. Venom craft ready. Venom craft ready for liftoff. Venom craft ready for liftoff.
Unit promoted.
Venom craft ready for liftoff. Keep on. Venom craft ready for liftoff. Look out there. How's it looking? Venom craft ready for liftoff. Don't lose them. Venom craft ready for liftoff.
It's a shame too that there's not many more taunts from Brother Marcion. Like, why is it that I can destroy his statues, but he doesn't have anything to say or, you know, taunt me with?
Venom craft
Just
ready for liftoff.
kind of seems like a wasted opportunity.
Venom craft ready for liftoff. Keep on him. Venom craft ready for liftoff. Don't lose him. How's it looking? He's in our sights. Venom craft ready for liftoff.
It's also these moments of like extreme unit density that I really wish the game would just stack them all and give me a number rather than having each individual unit.
Incoming transmission. Marcion is escaping. Eliminate his escort, and the heretic will be ours.
Go ahead.
He's escaping!
So in a way, this is like Hassan with Nod and Tiberian Sun.
Unit promoted.
Now, obviously, some of the circumstances are quite different. We're not assaulting over a river. This is at best a dry riverbed.
Don't lose him. Sure thing.
The units are completely different, blah blah blah. But it still has that same spirit.
Don't lose him.
Objective complete. Marcion's transport is taking damage. Marcion's transport is taking damage. Incoming transmission. Kane demands Marcion be taken alive. Guide his transport to the evac zone.
It's also rather important to not, control click them or do anything that you would regret. Especially if it costs you, 30 minutes, because there's no autosave.
Go ahead. See anything?
One purpose. I bring light. One vision.
Go ahead. Copy that. Looking clear.
And yeah, I've done everything. Like, I cleared all the objectives and destroyed Marcion's base, so
He's in our
I
sights.
guess I need to just
Take him out.
specifically drive Marcion all the way back.
Gotcha. Heading there now.
One purpose.
Objective complete.
On patrol.
Intelligence data updated.
I thought about blowing him up, but I figured it would fail me first.